Hello everyone. In the part 1 of this series, I have explained about the concept of class and how the classes can be defined and what is the content of a class. Okay, so now that much is enough for a theory part of your point of view to write about what is the class and its definition. Okay, let us see now the practical program explanation. So in the last video, that is part 1, I have stopped with about this function. Okay, so here there are two functions, which is read data and display data, which has been declared inside the class definition and it has been defined outside the class definition. What is declaration is just giving the name of the function. What is definition is giving all the contents of the function. So now I also told about what is scope operator. Scope operator is we are referring that this read data belongs to the publisher class. Okay, so for example, what is the meaning of the scope operator is, suppose I have a person, a student named Raja. This student is both in class A and class B. For example, he is in 11th standard A and there is also one Raja in 11th standard B, for example. Okay, so now if I want to say inside the classroom of class A or class B, I can say call Raja. That is enough. Suppose if I want to say I outside both the classes and I wanted to say call Raja, then the student will ask which Raja I want to call, ma'am, which means I have to say whether he belongs to class A or class B. So I have to say whom I meant is the person who belongs to class A, otherwise class B I have to tell. The same concept. When I am inside the class, I need not say about where you belong to this particular class. But when I am outside the class, I have to say to which class you belong to, because there may be possibility of multiple classes also. I can have more than one classes in a program and I can say any function of any class. So that is what this scope operator really refers to. So now coming to this part of the program, so this is the definition of the read data function. So here I am going to read the content of the book. What is the content? See out, enter the title name. So see in is a variable name to get the input function to get the variable name title, and then enter the author name and then enter the price and then enter the number of copies. And here I have one more function called calculate. This calculate is the function that is called within the function total amount is equal to calculate of number of copies, which means I give a rate of one book, it will give the number of copies, it will give the total amount of the book we have purchased. Okay, so now here, now that definition is over. Once the definition is over, you have to close the block. This open brace and this is the close brace to say this is the opening and the closing of this function read data, and that is over. Now I have to say what is this publisher scope calculate index, because this calculate again belongs to publisher function, publisher class. So I have to say float, because the function may return a float variable because it is a price of the book. It may be some rupees and pies. So they are giving us float, and then space publisher, the class name, and then scope operator, and then I have to give the function name and what is the parameter of the function. So int x is the number of copies you wanted to calculate. So this is passed through this function calculate, and then return return x into price. X into price is number of books into price of one book will give the total amount to be paid for the book purchase. Okay, so now the next function void publisher, and then here display data, again the scope operator, because this display data is in the scope of this class publisher. So now it is all about the displaying the content. So just you have to give all the see out messages, see out, all see out, and I'm giving some format for /n and /t and all within the double quotes. These double quotes will just display the message on the screen, and here /t will give you a tab space for each and every. So two /t will give 2 tab space. So likewise I can give. So this is the format I wanted to get in the output. To bring this format, okay, to bring this format I have to give all those content over here. So this is how the display data is defined now. So now all the the class definition is over, then we have defined all the function definition using the scope operator. Now we have to go for the main function. So this main function is an integer function, so we are giving this return 0 as the value, and then integer n comma I is the variable local to the function, and then here this is called instantiation. I am creating 10 objects called P under the class publisher. Okay, listen here, listen carefully here. Publisher is the class name. In the main program only I have to develop the object. So here P is the object which is under the class publisher. And why this array of 10 is given means because P is not a single variable. It is a array variable having book number, title, author name, price per book and total amount. So it is a array of elements, so it contains a structure of, okay, so P10 is number of we are allotting for 10 books, and each P consists of some contents over here. It is not a simple content, it is having a full content with all the variables. Okay, so now after instantiating the object for this class in this statement, I have to ask for number of copies to be number of object to be created, and then I am giving as many objects as I need. For I is equal to 0, I less than n, n plus plus. So how many objects you want to create? So that many contents you have to. So for example, how many books you want to mention, like that. Okay, so now P of I dot read data means for the first book you read the data of all. What are the data? Book number, title, author name, price per book, total amount. And then when I becomes 2, then for the next book I becomes 3 for the next book. So how many books you are purchasing? For all the books, this for loop continues to get the read the data of all the books, number of books you want to buy. And then next is the display data. So now here in this display data, again for all the books I have bought, I have to display the content of the data as per the output format. So in this format I have to print for all the books. Okay, so like 1001 C++ Balagurusamy book, and then it is price per book is I have purchased 3 copies, so 1500 rupees. And for next book core Java, author name, Savior. So all the inputs you give and you are displaying the output. Here the calculation part is very less, just you are multiplying the number of copies into the price of per book. That's it. Otherwise there is no logic in this program. Only concept here in the program is all about how to define the class and how to develop the function. Okay, so this is all about this program. The first part which I explained is enough for the theory point of view to say define a class and give example. Okay, and for the programming part, if you want to write a programming concept, we have to complete this program as I explained over this particular video. So the class details as given. So we have developed the class as per the details given over here. Book number, integer, title, character, author, 10 characters, price is float, total amount is float, and all those things. And also we are asked to create the function calculate function, and then we have to calculate function, we have to develop define read data, and then we have to also create the write data function. So everything is given as a class detail. Based on this only we have defined this class. So class publisher, all the variables, book number, title, author, price, total amount, calculate. This is a function. Okay, and then here publisher, when you say publisher, I told you this is an constructor. Even you can example theory part, for example of constructor also you can use the same example. So constructor is nothing but a function having the same name as the class publisher, and then here also publisher means it is a constructor. Okay, and then remaining functions are mentioned here, read data and display data. And then this is what the read data function, as I explained before. Now the read data function, which is the input function, and this is the output you wanted to get in the screen. And then this is the display data function to display all the content using this formatting, all with the cout statement. Okay, and then this is the main program, creating the object and asking for number of books to create. For all the books, read the data. For all the books, write the data, return 0. So that's all about this programming concept. Thanks for watching.